mission will take you on a journey you will never forget. Imagine that you are a soldier in World War II. You are in the front lines. You will live the role with all its thrilling details. The cold mornings of the trenches, the moments of boredom and fear, and the humor of comrades that breaks the cruelty of reality. This is not just a story. It is an experience that will change your perspective. Do not forget to subscribe to encourage us for more, and tell us in the comments from which country you are following us.
A cold morning in the trenches where time freezes. You wake up to the sound of intermittent gunfire playing the symphony of a sad morning. There is no soft bed and no warm blanket. Your bed is the cold ground at the bottom of a deep trench, covered with burlap dampened by the night's dew. You slowly open your eyes, and the first thing you see is the earthen ceiling of the trench and a little dawn light seeping through. The smell of wet soil and old gunpowder fills your nostrils. Your limbs are frozen from the intense cold, even though you are wrapped in your thick wool coat that has seen more days than you. You try to move quietly so as not to wake your comrade sleeping beside you, muttering incomprehensible words in his dream. You feel a slight prick in your back, for you are lying on some small pebbles you did not notice in the night's darkness. You sit and stretch your legs with difficulty, feeling the numbness creeping into them. You look at your hands, rough and dirty, nails filled with mud. There is no water to wash, no mirror to see your exhausted face, not even a brush to comb your hair that has become dry and matted. All you have is a small water bottle in your pocket, and it is only for drinking. You take a cigarette from its metal case and light it slowly with a match, savoring its faint flame that warms your fingers for a moment. You inhale deeply, the smoke filling your chest with false warmth before rising into the cold trench air. These simple moments are all the luxury you have in this harsh place. The sound of the stove and a piece of bread, a glimmer of hope. Your comrade begins to wake, groaning softly, then looks at you with drowsy eyes and says, "Good morning, comrade. Are we still alive?" You smile wearily and answer, "As long as the sun rises, we are alive and the war still goes on." This is your daily conversation. Few words, but heavy with meaning. He points to a small handmade stove in one corner of the trench and says, "Come, the fire is lit now. Maybe we will find a little warmth." You both crawl with difficulty toward it. The place is narrow, and every movement must be calculated precisely. You find some of your comrades gathered around the stove, their hands stretched out to catch whatever little warmth it gives. Their faces are tired, their eyes red from lack of sleep. One of them offers you a piece of dry bread and says, "This is what remains of the rations, comrade, until the new supply arrives. This is our breakfast." You take it, knowing it has lasted with you for days, and its taste has become bitter, like the taste of war. You soak it in a little water to soften it before eating it slowly, as if it were the last meal of your life.
You try to remember the taste of fresh bread from your home, the smell of sweets your mother used to make. You close your eyes for a moment, trying to live that beautiful memory, but the sound of the cold wind whistling above the trench brings you back to the harsh reality. The cautious patrol, careful with every step. After your simple breakfast, the real day begins. The commander arrives, his face covered with the same fatigue that covers you all, but in his eyes a spark of determination. He says in a low voice, "Morning patrol, comrades. Let's make sure the enemy did not infiltrate during the night." You grip your weapon, feel the cold metal in your hand, and put the helmet on your head. You crawl out of the trench with great caution, like a snake slithering in the grass. The ground is frozen and mined with every kind of danger. Every step could be the last. You look around and see the bare trees, the land plowed by shells, and the barbed wire spread like a giant spider's web. The sky is gray, and the fog clings to the distant trees. Hours pass as you walk slowly and cautiously, your ears alert to any strange sound, your eyes scanning every inch of the ground. You feel the hidden fear creeping into your bones, but you pretend to be brave. This is how a soldier learns to live, pretending to be strong until strength becomes part of him. You pass by old corpses, remains of previous battles. You see them and feel nothing, for your eyes have grown accustomed to the dead. You think, will I be one of these someday? Then you push the thought away quickly, for despair has no place here. You return to the trench after a long time without major incidents. You remove your helmet and breathe with difficulty, realizing you had been holding your breath the whole patrol. You sit in a corner, leaning your back against the earthen wall, and close your eyes in fatigue. Time means nothing here, for days all look alike, and every day is a struggle for survival. After the cold morning patrol, you return to your trench. The day is still long, and surprises may be behind every hill.
The boredom games and the humor of death. You sit in a corner of your trench, feeling fatigue creeping into your bones. The gray air still hangs over the place, and the sound of the cold wind is your only companion. There is not much to do in these slow hours dragging themselves. You take another piece of bread, now harder than the first, and try to bite it. Your teeth almost break from its hardness, so you whisper to yourself, "This bread has become harder than the enemy's defenses." Your comrade comes carrying a strangely shaped stone and says with fake seriousness, "Comrade, I've found you a game to kill the boredom. How about we play who finds the hardest stone that resembles the heart of our commander?" You laugh softly, though laughing there is almost a crime under constant watch. You reply, "Our commander's heart is softer than this stone. I saw him silently crying over one of the dead yesterday, but he wears the mask of cruelty for us." You see another comrade take out a worn-out picture from his pocket, a picture of his wife and children. He looks at it longingly, then says with a voice choked with pain, "Do you know what I will do with my first salary after the war? I will buy a big bird to fly over our heads here and tell us when this damned war will end." Another comrade answers bitterly, "Do not tire yourself. The bird will not find a whisper or a sign to tell it when we will finish this hell." These are dark jokes, but they are the only way to lighten the weight of reality. But it is the only way to ease the weight of reality. Mealtime, unforgettable schedules. At noon comes the sacred time of food. It is the time when you all gather to eat your poor daily meal. The big pots are brought, filled with the simplest available foods, pale-colored soup, perhaps with some dried vegetables and other pieces of stale bread. The smell is not appetizing, but hunger makes it taste like the finest feast. You sit with your comrades, everyone reaching out to take his share. There is not much talk during the meal. Everyone is focused on satisfying hunger. One tries to lighten the tense atmosphere and says, "Do you know, I have started seeing a key in my hand while searching for the hidden pantry. Surely they are hiding delicious dishes from us somewhere." Some smile bitterly, and another replies, "Look for the pantry of fresh bread first, for we have forgotten its taste." You eat slowly, trying to make your stomach feel full for as long as possible. You listen to the slow chewing sounds and the distant sound of shells reminding you where you are. This meal, in all its simplicity, represents a moment of psychological comfort more than a meal of food. The calm before the storm, endless anticipation. After lunch, cautious silence returns to the trench.
Some spend their time cleaning their weapons with extreme precision, for a blocked barrel can mean death. Others write letters to their families with trembling hands and few words carrying great longing. You think about writing to your family, but you find the words frozen at the tip of your tongue. What will you write? I am fine? And you know this word no longer means anything here. You lie on your side and put your arm under your head as a pillow. You close your eyes, trying to sleep a little, but thoughts crowd in your head. You hear the voices of comrades speaking in low tones about their dreams after the war. One wishes to open a small candy shop. Another dreams of seeing the sea for the first time. You open your eyes slightly and look at the sky through the trench opening. You see a big black crow flying in the distance. You find yourself speaking to it in silence. Do you see an end to this nightmare, bird, or are you telling us more corpses are coming? You remain on guard, for the silence here is not comfort, but anticipation of the coming storm. Every silence is a chance for body and soul to recharge for what is to come, and what is to come will never be easy. Sunset creeps into the trench, and with it the mood of the place changes. The time is no longer for boredom, but for vigilance and preparation. The sounds of dusk settle, and stumbling wishes linger. When the sun begins to disappear, and the gray sky turns into a painting of sad sunset colors, the atmosphere in the trench becomes quieter, yet tense. The sound of snipers seeps from afar, as if reminding you of the enemy who never sleeps. The cold returns to bite harder, and you feel it seeping into your bones. You hear your comrade muttering in a low voice, shivering from the cold of the pit, saying, "Will we spend another night here, comrade? I've started to feel like a tree that has grown out of this mud, and my roots have sunk deeper than the trench itself." You smile lightly and reply, "Do not worry, at least you will be the only tree that will never rust." Another comrade stretches his hand into his pocket and pulls out a small piece of chocolate covered with some dirt. He says with false pride, "I have kept this jewel for a whole week, waiting for the right moment to eat it." Then he looks at you all seriously. "But I have decided that we will share it, for life is too short to be stingy with chocolate." You all smile and take very small pieces, enjoying its sweet taste that almost makes you forget the bitterness of war. For a moment you feel guilty, for you know that if you had owned it, you would not have thought of sharing it. This shows that the war has changed you more than you imagined.
The night of war, between wakefulness and the specters of the past. When night drops its dark curtain, vision becomes difficult and mysterious sounds increase. You know this is the time when the enemy might infiltrate. You take turns standing guard, each soldier spending long hours watching in the darkness. Your turn comes. You crawl silently to the designated guard point and place your eye on your rifle's sight. The silence is absolute, except for the sound of the wind and the buzzing of night insects. You try to focus, but your mind begins to drift. You find yourself thinking of your old home, the warm bed, your mother's smiling face. You smell the aroma of dinner she used to prepare and hear the laughter of your sisters. Suddenly, a low voice comes from your comrade standing beside you. He says slowly, "You know, I promised myself that if I return alive from this war, I will open a restaurant, and I will serve only one thing, roasted potatoes. I will make them so delicious that people will forget every soup and stale bread they ate here." Then he sighs deeply, "But I don't know if this is a wish or a joke." You reply lightly, "If we survive, I will be your first customer, and I will ask for an extra spoon of roasted bread if possible." Your comrade sighs loudly, like a sad laugh. The cold grows harsher and the darkness denser. Every sound becomes magnified. The rustle of leaves, the buzz of insects, even your heartbeat. You feel your weapon, making sure the bullets are there, for it is your only friend in this darkness. You feel lonely, but you are not alone. Every soldier around you feels the same, and that is what makes you all brothers in war. Fragmented sleep and troubled dreams. When your turn at guard ends, you return to your sleeping spot. You lie down and try to close your eyes. The cold seeps into your bones, and the sounds of war still echo in your ears. Sleep here is not complete rest, but rather a series of short naps, always ready for sudden attack. You may see strange, blurred dreams. Perhaps you dream that you are in your home kitchen, and your mother is preparing you a delicious meal, but then the sound of the boiling pot turns into the sound of a shell exploding beside you, and you wake up terrified. Or maybe you dream that you are running in a wide green field with no end, the sun warm, and no sounds of war. Then you wake up disappointed, realizing it was only a dream. Every night is a struggle with darkness, fear, and cold. But there is one thing that keeps you standing: hope. A hidden hope that this war will one day end and that you will return to your old life, to your homeland, to your family. This hope is the only flame that never goes out in the darkness of war. You close your eyes again and try to surrender to sleep. Perhaps in dreams you will find a little of the true comfort you long for.
Your eyes close once again, and you try to surrender to sleep. Perhaps in dreams you will find a little of the true rest you are seeking. Time passes this way, night followed by day, and every morning is another miracle of survival. But every war has an end, and every story has a final chapter: the last assault, where breaths cease. You awaken to a sound unlike any other, a sharp whistle cutting through the dawn's calm, followed by the shouts of commanders, "Attack! Attack!" Your heart leaps in your chest, adrenaline surging through your veins. This is the moment you prepared for, yet feared at the same time. You spring to your feet, sling your rifle and tighten your helmet. Chaos engulfs the trench. Voices merge into a roar. The acrid smell of gunpowder fills the air. You quickly light a cigarette, taking a deep drag as if it were your last. Thoughts vanish. There is no room for fear or hesitation. It is time to fight. You climb the trench ladder and advance toward the no man's land, the empty space between your lines and the enemy's. The sound of artillery deafens you. Bullets fly over your head like iron rain. You crawl, run, and duck, dodging shells that explode around you, turning the earth into a churning lake of dust and debris. A comrade falls beside you. You have no time to mourn. The goal is to move forward. You find yourself face to face with the enemy. No time to think, only aim and fire. The crack of your rifle rings out, the scent of burnt gunpowder filling your mouth. Amid this chaos, a strange moment of silence emerges. You see the enemy soldier's face. Not an enemy, but a human like you, scared and exhausted. But these moments vanish quickly in the frenzy of attack. Then comes a sudden, unbelievable stillness. The sounds fade, gunfire stops, artillery ceases. A strange silence takes over, one you haven't known for a long time. Looking around, you see the remaining soldiers staring at each other in disbelief. A commander's voice breaks the quiet, calm yet filling the ground. "Ceasefire! The war is over!" It's almost impossible to believe your ears. Could it really be true? Another cruel trick of this dark war? Yet there is genuine silence now. No shells, no bullets, only the soft wind and deep breaths. You sit on the dusty ground, slowly leaning against a small mound of earth. You remove your helmet, feeling the cold air brush your matted hair. You look at your mud-stained hands and try to believe that you are still alive. Your comrade sits beside you, staring at the horizon with hollow eyes, whispering, "It's over. Is it really over?" You answer with a trembling voice, "I don't know, but there's no more gunfire." The return is a mix of pain and hope. The following days feel strange. The war has ended, yet its traces remain. Everyone seems lost, unsure of what comes next after years when the war was everything. Soldiers from the other side emerge from their trenches, exhausted just like you. No more enmity, only shared fatigue and the desire to return home. The journey home is long, on foot, then in old trucks, and finally by train. In every city you pass, people rejoice. Children run in the streets, women wave from windows. Life slowly returns to its former rhythm. Triumphal arches are hastily erected, and on people's faces, smiles appear that you can barely remember, yet feel strangely foreign. You are no longer the young man who left home. The war has changed you. Your eyes perceive things differently, and the sound of quiet now disturbs you more than the roar of artillery ever did. Sleep without fear becomes impossible. You arrive at your small village, the same house, the same tree in the garden. When you knock, your mother opens the door, tears of joy filling her eyes. She embraces you tightly, inhaling the scent of soil and gunpowder still clinging to your clothes. No words are needed. The hug and tears speak more than language ever could.
The war's end marks the beginning of a new life. Days pass and you try to adjust to this new world. Sounds gradually return to your mind. You either resume your pre-war work or start anew, learning to appreciate life's simplest things: a fresh piece of bread, a cold glass of water, a quiet night without the sound of gunfire.